Yo, yo, yo! Hello there, lovely citizens of the Shaft. I am Naked Zombo, and today we are going to be taking a look at a little secret added into Ark, the Dune Buggy. Now, this thing was in the game many updates ago as a spawnable entity to test out, but nothing ever came of it. It was eventually removed in patch 209 for debugging, but was added back in the latest patch 258. But for what purpose? We're gonna do a bit of speculation on this automotive vehicular device. I'll give you a rundown of how to use it and what it could mean for the future of Ark Survival Evolved. So once again, this vehicle is not a craftable item in the game. There's no engram, no resources, nowhere to build it. You can spawn it in both single player and multiplayer sessions and on servers. I'll throw the spawn code down in the description for you so you can check it out yourself. To spawn it in, copy the command, click tab to open the console, and click Ctrl V to paste it in the command bar, then click enter. The Dune Buggy will now be in your inventory. Drop it in an item slot at the bottom and click it to spawn it in. Kinda like a raft. And there you go, you've now got yourself a shiny new a Dune Buggy. The buggy has a stamina meter, but it doesn't drain. Again, this is a very unfinished item. So if it does get released, expect it to be much more polished in the future. The Dune Buggy can be damaged by all animals in the game, so be careful! It also has a decent amount of speed to it, and it seems like it builds up speed when driving on a flat enough surface. The Dune Buggy can drive through animals and does a lot of damage without taking damage itself. So how feasible is a vehicle like this in Ark anyway? Well, it seems that there are going to be a lot of drawbacks if this is what an actual craftable Dune Buggy is going to be like in the game. As you know, Ark's terrain is incredibly bumpy and uneven. There's dense foliage everywhere, all over the place, and while it does clip through trees, there are tons of rocks in these areas that can be a big problem. The Dune Buggy could also get stuck crossing a river and leave you vulnerable to any predators nearby. There are giant prehistoric beasts everywhere in the game, so it's pretty much impossible to not get hit by one that could totally destroy your vehicle. As of now, the Dune Buggy has no effective way of defending you. Now, I'm sure if WildCard plans to release it, they have many ideas they'd like to implement into the final build. And we have some ideas of our own that we'd like to see. If your Dune Buggy gets damaged, a toolbox on hand would be nice that you could store resources to repair it, maybe even give the Dune Buggy an inventory itself to store these backup resources as well as gasoline to power it. There could even be a built-in fabricator that can only craft electronics and polymer for repairs. They could implement a mechanic where if your buggy gets stuck in a river, a towing cable on the front would be incredibly useful to attach to a tree or a rock to help you pull it out of whatever it's stuck on. Or you could just make it amphibious, so if you're driving from land into water, it would just turn on its floaties and turn into a boat or something. Now that would be sick. The Dune Buggy does have a car horn, so maybe they could use that to scare off some of these smaller, aggressive dinos that would try to attack you, sort of like the Eutyrannus Fear Roar. Or maybe even a third passenger seat where a rider could utilize a machine gun turret on top. How about that, WildCard? Original idea, never been done before. But that would still leave the problem of the bumpy, hazardous terrain in the island map, as well as maps such as Scorched Earth and the Center. Scorched Earth would have the most effective use for the Dune Buggy, considering there are actual dunes for you to buggy around in. A tech tier hovercraft would be something to remedy this issue that a four-wheeled vehicle would often run into, but that also begs the question, would people use a tech tier ground vehicle when they have tech armor that can make them sprint or fly across the map like a Walmart brand Iron Man in no time at all? Whatever WildCard has planned for this thing, I'm sure it won't disappoint. I hope they work something out that would make the Dune Buggy a must-have item for all players and tribes in the game. This is the first instance of any kind of land vehicle we've ever seen in Ark Survival Evolved. I think they're just testing the waters out with this test vehicle to see if vehicles would be a good idea to add into the game. If this works out and they see that vehicles have a place in the game, they could start adding in a bunch of different vehicles and it would just open up a whole new world. I just noticed something very interesting towards the end of making this video. I think Ark literally just had an update a few minutes ago, and when I spawned in a Dune Buggy, what looks like to be a tech tier Dune Buggy just popped up. I think right now as I'm making this video, they are currently making some adjustments. Besides aesthetics, there's not much of a difference, but the handling is much better with this one than the previous one. You can actually drive in a straight line without it veering off on you. Could the Dune Buggy just be a tech tier exclusive item, or are there going to be different tiers of vehicles? What would you guys like to see for vehicles in Ark Survival Evolved? Do you want to see this? Do you want this to happen? Maybe even flying vehicles like helicopters can make it into the final release. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let's have a little brainstorming fest in the comments. I'm sure WildCard will watch this video. We'll see your comments and ideas, so make them count. Hi WildCard, I love you. And that about wraps up this video. Comment and don't forget to pound that friggin' like button, like and subscribe, and join our RP server. Some nasty stuff goes on in there. I am Naked Zombo, and I will see you in the next video.